Something went on here, something went on there. And
welcome to Taggart and Torrens. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm great, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm doing great. We have Danko Jones, the famous Canadian rock and roller, on the show.
Looking
today.
forward to that.
Social media
guru.
mage. He's also a very funny guy, so I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have another segment with Ask Ronnie, my dad, and this is episode 2. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling good. We live to tell the tale, right?
Yes.
Episode 1, first of all, again, thanks to everybody who listened,
Yes.
both of you. Nice to get feedback from the people. Nice that people seem to like it. Nice those that were patient with us as they recognize it's our first episode and things are only going to get better. And also, to those who didn't like it, your feedback is welcome and helpful too.
I don't know if I really care about that feedback.
See,
I'm so into talking that I don't want to hear about it, no matter what.
That's where we differ. I don't alter my course based on what people think.
Yeah.
But I feel badly or almost embarrassed if someone didn't like it and felt like they wasted an hour of their life.
Let's not say I don't get embarrassed. I get embarrassed like anybody's business. But when it comes to this show, I'm just a little overprotective of
me,
of us.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. So I don't listen to anything, but I do get embarrassed. Do you get embarrassed?
Well, I always think about how I look at my kids. I have 2 little girls, 4 and 2. They're not embarrassed. They're so not self-conscious about anything they do. And it got me to thinking about the first time in my life I ever remember the feeling of embarrassment. And it was New Year's Eve, 1978. I'm 6 years old.
Trauma alert.
I got a Animal from the Muppets drum set for Christmas.
Nice move.
I mean, you're a professional, but I put together what I thought was a pretty tidy version of the Little Drummer Boy. And so a bunch of times over the course of that holiday season, I was like, come, ba-ba-ba-bum, little, ba-ba-ba-bum. Thought it was pretty cool.
Okay.
My parents on New Year's Eve were having a booze-soaked affair, a bunch of folks over from the neighborhood.
Yes.
I go to sleep. My dad comes and wakes me up and says, you got to play the Little Drummer Boy for everybody. I was like, oh my God, I'm opening for the party. This is awesome. So in my pajamas and sleepyhead, I come out and play come ba 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 boom they ta ba 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 boom, and I remember adults pointing and laughing in slow motion. This distorted kind of because I was sitting down. They were tall, looking down. I remember this feeling that I'd never experienced before that made me feel kind of sad and kind of weird about it. And I realized I'm not the entertainment because they think I'm good. I'm the entertainment because it's a joke to them.
Oh no!
Interesting feeling, because kids aren't born feeling embarrassed,
this
right?
Is sad to listen to because I'm getting this like an ISDN line into my soul.
It's not. I don't.
You can see Jonathan's face right now. This is a big deal.
No, it wasn't. I'm not telling you because it's something that stayed with me or something that's heavy. But
you gotta finish. Just finish the story, would you?
Well, if I do say things worked out okay for me.
Well, no.
Like I'm pretty level-headed guy. It didn't scar me. I'm not a drummer, you'll notice. But I do think it's interesting that kids aren't born with that gene.
Yeah.
That's something that's drilled into us.
Yes.
What's your most embarrassing moment in the world? Go.
Oh, I would have to say getting caught masturbating by my dad.
This morning.
Yeah. No, when I was just starting. When you're at that point when you're doing that. And you start, you can't stop. There's no stopping. Once
sure.
The first few times you figure like this is something that has to happen all the time. And especially when you're at that last 10%, there's no stopping it. It's like a runaway train. And the runaway train was happening when I heard my dad coming down the hallway. He opened the door just as the cataclysmic event in my center of my world shattered. He opened the door and just saw me there, and I basically I was just done. And he said, "What are you doing there? Pulling your pork?" and slammed the door and left. and any other time I was like in the bathroom, like
with the door locked.
After he's like, "What are you doing in there? Pulling your pork?"
Oh my gosh! And was that the talk? That was like the
talk.
closest to the talk you ever had?
So that, I had that, I remember that feeling, this is 14 years old, and there's probably an element of of lying down on a couch happening right now with this conversation. But at that moment, I did have that visualization of Superman flying around the world to turn back time. Like, I would like nothing more than to have that 15 minutes back.
Well, the question on everyone's mind, by the way, 15 minutes.
I'm saying, like, so I wouldn't be doing that when my dad walked down. 15 minutes would give me plenty of time to clear the room of anything going on.
It's not lost on me how, like, the Trailer Park Boys
It's like
scene
Back to the
is,
Future.
though.
I'm not going to take 2 minutes and risk it happening again. I'm going back 15 just to
It's
make
like
sure.
Bubbles and Ricky and Julian catching J-Rock pulling the goalie.
Yes!
It's the same scene.
But this was real, and it's my dad. So it's a different thing. You're
That is
doing it
different.
on set to feel it.
Were you
Did it ever
embarrassed
happen to
enough-
you for real?
Yes, but by a maid in Cancun. It's a long story, and maybe the headline's better than the story itself. But do you have embarrassing moments as an adult?
Oh, here it is. I got you candy. Candy.
I was wondering if I could, oh my God, Steven!
Oh, my leg!
What
my
the-
leg! Oh, it
What the
hurts!
hell are you
Get
doing?
out of here, my leg!
That's the last of the pepperoni!
Most embarrassing moment of my so-called career. Well, I have a few, I shouldn't say. I don't think I've told you this. I'm going to tell you this story right now. 1995, I'm hosting the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination video contest.
This is at the height of Jonavision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Master T, a VJ from Much Music.
I love Master T. He's a great guy.
So people have sent in their videos from across the country talking about how racism is bad, which of course it is. And this is a gathering at the Glenn Gould Theater in CBC. And the year can be marked by the fact that the O.J. Simpson trial was on CNN. That's what year
Okay.
it was, if you want to Google that.
Yeah.
So kids have been bussed in against their will from all over the Greater Toronto area. There are 1,200 students, some Raptors, some Maple Leafs, a couple of Blue Jays, some city officials and what have you. And the idea is folks come up and put a clear glove on their hand, dip it in paint, put their hand on the wall, and say, it's our differences that make us the same. Or I am colorblind, for example.
Okay.
Up comes a Raptor, a sizable man of African-American descent, struggles to put the glove on. And I say into the mic, you're watching CNN coverage of the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, no.
Now, in fairness, in 99% of the rooms I would find myself in, that's a great joke.
Yeah.
I would argue that if you don't laugh at that or you get your back up at that joke, that is in fact racist.
If you don't laugh at it.
Well,
Okay, yeah, 'cause you're
it's
judging
a joke.
it.
A joke
Yeah.
is a joke.
Yeah.
And so 1,199 kids in the room go, and one guy in the back goes, oh my God.
Oh, no.
And it was like when Mike Myers and Kanye were
Yeah.
talking about George Bush, and Mike Myers was just staring straight ahead, would not look at him. That's what Master T was doing to me. I was looking at him for a visual lifeline. He was like sending the "you're on your own, bud" signals. So
that's
there was
it.
a lengthy pause, and I tried to backfill with "see," but that's exactly why we're here today. Nobody was buying it. Wanted the world to open up and swallow me whole, as you can imagine. But the only reason I can tell this story is because I'm obviously not racist.
Yeah.
But that moment was heinous.
Wow. I'm just uncomfortable thinking about that.
I know.
And I've been there where I've been in front of people and saying things that I shouldn't be saying in terms of I've forgotten and I'm falling on my face here.
Right.
That doesn't bother me because it's just whatever, that can happen. But those
what's-
kind of things where you're getting a reactionary feeling
On a
of like that you
stage.
obviously didn't expect or mean, that's terrifying.
So what is your default when you start to have that internal dialogue of I'm embarrassed, this isn't happening? Do you speak more to fill in the space, or do
I
you
look
just shut
around
right
me,
up?
and at the time, I remember I was doing a charity speech for a charity, and I was at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I just happened to be in front of the Stanley Cup, and I just looked back, and I was like, "How about those Leafs? We gonna get this year, or what?" And that was my out.
What did everybody say?
I think it was just because it was so left and beyond. It was like, okay, let's move on.
You
here.
go for a non sequitur.
And I spoke what I had to say, and I felt in my mind I had to do something that was impossible, and I proved that it was impossible by trying to do it. And,
I think as you get to be an adult, though, you develop kind of coping mechanisms to get you through most of the embarrassing moments that might come up.
Yes.
I've concocted the most brilliant way out of not remembering someone's name, but you have to commit 1,000,000,000%.
Okay.
So say Tim is recording the podcast beside you. Say I don't remember Tim's name.
Sure.
I say, Jeremy, you remember... Sorry, guys.
Right away,
If
you got
you
to
fake a coughing
real
fit,
cough.
but you commit to it, Tim will jump in and say, I'm Tim. The only trick is, there are two tricks. One is you have to really commit 1,000,000,000% to it. Tim, you remember... Sorry, guys. That's thing number one.
I'm Jeremy.
Thing
That's
number
my
two
reaction
is,
to make you feel better.
Right.
Hey, let's just get past this. It's okay, buddy.
Right.
Jeremy here.
You want to pour social lubricant on it to just grease the wheels. That's your instinct.
Get
The
this
second
guy some
thing
water
is-
and let me tell you my name.
While you're coughing, you have to keep your ear on the person whose name you don't remember so that you catch it when
Yeah.
they offer it up.
Wow.
So the second you stop coughing, you can say, Jeremy, sorry, guys.
This was told to you by a CEO, it sounds like.
No, it's something that happened once by accident that, like, I caught a lucky bounce.
Wow, that is very good. You do have to commit. You can't.
What do you do when you don't remember someone's name?
Well, I would always resort to
Bud?
guy or
Yeah.
hey. Or,
There he is.
That time, remember this? Because I can usually remember a situation with the person. And this happens all the time where sometimes I see someone that I really know and I'll get a blank on their name, which is even more scary. Like if you actually, hey, remember that time, we hung out for like 3 weeks together? And I'm like, oh,
3
that
weeks.
ain't- I'm not kidding. Like
Jeremy,
this-
I'm your mother. Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, no, that's happened. Like if a band's been opening for a summer or something, and then you don't see them for a year, and it's like I know this person's name and I can't think of it, and I'm a total dick right now.
Another social Hail Mary, by the way. And again, it's risky, but you can say, what memory am I thinking about right now?
Oh my!
When they offer up the memory,
anything.
that's when you got, of course, that's Eric from Carlsbad Beach.
That's a real roll, though. That's asking.
Oh,
for,
that can backfire.
yeah.
Yeah.
What memory?
There's always Bud. Hey, Bud. How you doing, Bud?
Hey, bud.
Because it does sound intimate.
Yes.
And I have a
Especially
theory that you can say anything to anybody with Bud at the end, and it takes the edge off it. Like, there's bad news, Mr. Taggart. We found your wife. She's in about 2,000 pieces, Bud.
Oh yeah. No,
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it means the most heinous news in the world, you still have a friend.
Yeah.
You still have someone calling you
Yeah.
Bud.
Here's a pillow. Sit down. Your life is over, bud.
What do you not like to be called? Huh? What do you not like to be called?
I don't like to be called buddy or boss.
Boss. I'm not a fan of
Boss
guy.
sucks. And especially if you're a cab driver, stop calling me boss.
Yeah, that's weird.
Really bothers me. Because it almost sounds like, like asshole or fuck you or you're a dick.
There he is.
Where am I
find
taking you,
hard.
boss? Where are you going, boss? Yeah, that's right, boss. Like,
Or boss man.
yeah.
How do you answer there he is? Because you have to, it forces you to say something or make a sound. There he is.
That's me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm throwing it right back at him, right?
Huh.
There he is.
There you are. It's not as good.
No, it's not as good.
Here we both are.
You know what I mean? Like somebody says something. I think Bob Dylan was the best at like turning something around that's really simple. Where he's, for example, when he played the Last Waltz, and Neil Diamond was like going on, Neil Diamond just went on and thought he killed it, and he goes up to Bob Dylan and he's like, "Good luck following that." On the wings.
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond said that to Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan says, "What do you want me to do? Fall asleep?"
No.
Yeah, another classic.
One of the great
Bob Dylan
comebacks
comeback
of all time.
The Led Zeppelin manager Peter Grant came up to Bob Dylan and he said, "Hello, Mr. Dylan. I manage the Led Zeppelin. How are you? Don't come to me with your problems."
No.
Yes, that is some heavyweight stuff. Right
Sometimes
there. I love that.
Sometimes the sky opens and the Lord just hands you a gold brick of a comeback.
Yeah.
More often than not, you get it in your car or whatever, and you think, oh, you know what I should have said? I had a great one this past summer where I cut off a guy on a motorbike in traffic, and he was wearing camouflage, helmet, jacket, and pants. And I cut him off in traffic, and he speeds up beside me and says, "You didn't see me there?"
Oh,
He built me a house.
yeah, he did.
I said, "Isn't that the point?" And he sped away. That was it.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. So I guess we should get on to calling Ronnie here.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cocktail, please.
Hey, Ma.
Okay, here he is.
All right. Okay, good.
Turn the lights out.
Awesome.
Oh, we left the lights on in the car.
The cars are lights on?
Yeah.
You want to take care of that, or?
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll do it. Hold on.
You do it, eh, Ma? Oh, yeah. Here's Pops. Dad?
No, wait a minute, here.
Aw, Ma, how are you?
Come on, they're waiting for you on the phone here.
That's awesome.
Here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right, Dad. No
Hey,
problem.
hey.
It's all good. It's all good, Dad. You comfortable, Pops?
Yeah, okay.
Why don't you sit down and relax?
Yeah. Ah.
Are you all set, Pops?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go right now. Okay.
Sure.
All right. We have Ron Taggart, my wonderful and loved dad. How are you, Dad?
Okay, I'm fine.
So, how's things up there in the frozen tundra?
It's frozen and cold.
How many feet of snow did you guys get over this storm?
4 or 5 feet, man.
No way, really?
Oh, yeah, at least South Toll.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
You're having trouble getting the car started?
yeah, this morning it wouldn't start, no. It's terrible this morning. Yeah.
Holy cold.
Lucky I had my little race for the radio, for the charger.
Oh, the charger.
Yeah, I got a small charger at work.
Nice.
Finally got it going.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's fine.
So,
Where?
you got the snow removal sorted. The chain on
Yeah,
that
I
thing.
guess he's gonna get that. Yeah,
Jet's gonna sort that.
he's gonna fix that.
So, Dad, we got a couple of questions actually from some listeners, and Jonathan is gonna ask you the first one here.
Oh man. Okay.
The first one is from Marlon the Man. And the question is, when did you start playing drums and who influenced you?
Oh. Well, I was like 12, 13 years old, I guess. Listening to drummers, like Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, play people like that way back then when I was a kid.
And those were the guys back then.
Yeah, hearing those guys.
Those guys are still the guys.
Yeah, I made my own sticks.
You made your own sticks?
Oh, yeah. First
How'd you
one.
do that?
Out of wood. Yeah,
I know, but what'd you do? Whittle them down on a lathe?
I even made a pair of brushes.
No way.
Yeah, with wires.
So you were like Professor from Gilligan's Island as well.
Yeah, I played on a box, right? So you got a sort of a good effect on it. On a box with brushes that you made yourself.
How long was it before you started playing professionally?
Oh, shit. Well, I don't know. I guess professionally, what do you mean by that?
Well, playing
for money.
Playing for money, yeah.
Playing for money? Oh, I was
Yeah.
16, 17 years old, I was getting stuff.
And that was in Yorkville primarily?
Yeah, a lot of little places around there. The 300 Club, places like that on Spadina. Some of those older places.
You also played in Yorkville, didn't you? Did you ever play the Riverboat and the Purple Onion and places like that?
Not really, not down there, no. But there was other clubs around the corner we used to play. Right.
Because you were a jazz cat.
The Cellar and places like that.
Was that more the jazz community?
Yeah, sort of. Well, I played anywhere and anywhere to get money. Jazz, rock, didn't matter. There was some good little bands you got into, Met a lot of good musicians along the way.
You were playing with Tony Kosnak back then, right?
Tony Kosnak. It was later on, right in the 60s.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
Tony
that was more.
Kosnak. Yeah, we tried to get a band going there for a while.
And he ended up going on to writing the OK Blue Jays
Okay,
theme.
Blue Jays, yeah. A whole bunch of other material that he wrote.
Hey, Dad, we have another question from a Twitter follower.
Yeah.
Ronnie, this question is from @StackLightning. How long did it take your mouth to heal after the glass chewing, and would you do it again?
I don't know. It didn't cut me at all.
Really? You had it down to where you would never cut yourself? I thought you at least got a couple gashes in your mouth.
There was no gashes, no blood, nothing, eh? Pretty good.
So let's back it up for a second. For those who don't know the story, how did it come about that you chewed glass?
Oh, I was just trying to scare kids, that's all.
Intimidation fact.
Instead of, pounding the shit out of them. or whatever.
I do believe it was the time they were doing donuts on Grandma and Papa Doug's lawn across the street from us, and
Yeah, they were nasty little buggers.
they threw a beer bottle at
Yeah, yeah.
And
the
that
attack
smashed.
was like hockey sticks and stuff.
you. Yeah, and then you picked up the glass from the beer bottle
Cracked
and then
it
chewed it
over.
up,
Yeah.
and they ran away. They got in the car, right?
We got ours on them.
You got ours on them.
It was a different time.
It was a different time.
How do you think parenting has changed today?
I don't think it's no different now than it was then. I don't think you still have to look after your kids.
You don't think parents are a little softer now?
Oh, I think they are probably, yeah. Because do you hear my dog barking?
That's Molly.
Molly, she wants to go out.
We have one more question for you, Dad.
One more question?
Yeah.
This question's from Peter Reimer. What's your number one pet peeve?
Pet peeve? Oh, there ain't no one number one.
What's number 1 through 10 then?
I've got 100 of them. Too many to mention. I could write a book about it.
How about one of the pet peeves of the moment?
It'd be nice to have some honesty.
Honesty.
Real honesty.
Across the board.
Especially where the taxpayer's paying out dough, you know?
Yeah.
Where they're paying that hard-working money they have to really work hard to get.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then turn around and it's taxed and it's thrown away and wasted like that.
Yeah.
But we all know it's going on. But they lie and they lie and they lie. That'd be nice to do something about that.
It would be nice. You know what, Dad? We'll work on it from our end for sure. We'll work on that from our end. We'll do the best that we can.
This question is from an @Torrens Jonathan, and the question is, what was Jeremy like as a kid?
Oh, he was a great kid. All my kids were good. No problem at all. Just you have to give them a little slap in the ass once in a while, but otherwise they were pretty good.
Is he the guy today that he always was?
Yeah, I think he's the same, yeah. He's the same now.
Thanks, Dad.
He responds to things he has to do. He knows what he has to do, right? So that's
Nice.
pretty cool to have.
I dig that, Pops.
No
Thanks.
problem.
Did you teach him everything he knows about the drums?
I just gave him the rudiments. Just the rudiments, you know? Get him started. Once he got on his own, then he got other teachers. That was better.
No, come on. I still remember stuff that you showed me, and it was actually the ethic you showed me, the element of how hard I should work and the bar.
Yeah, of course you need that, right? You need that work ethic. If you don't practice a lot, you don't really get any better.
Yeah, and I remember you used to say, pick your favorites, but the bar becomes that person you're listening to on the record, not the kid that you're hanging out with on the street.
Right.
I'm a frustrated musician who doesn't have the talent that you guys have, but something I've always wondered is, can anybody become an excellent musician with practice, or do you have to be born with a degree of ability?
Oh, I think you can just practice. Practice and listening, man.
Yeah.
I think you sort of need a bit sort of musical ability. You know, just about music. I love for music.
Yeah.
If you have a love for music, then you sort of know what it's all about.
Exactly. Because then
you can find out break it all down, into segments, and of course, just practice, and listening.
You gotta have a passion for listening, right?
Yeah, well, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
To listen.
Of all the gigs you ever played, is there one that sticks out in your mind as being your all-time favorite?
Oh, yeah, the one I played with Jeremy's band.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Tabla.
Yeah, that was great.
That was really cool.
We did a thing with John Stewart, and he hosted a radio show for Our Lady Peace, and Dad sat in and played tablas, and then we actually played the Opera House, and he sat in again. So it was like a couple days of rehearsal and actually playing with my dad. It was incredible. That was one of my favorite moments as well.
Hey, Ronnie, how was the pay?
Who cares about the pay?
You're still waiting on that check, huh?
I'm still waiting on that check.
I love it. Thanks for coming on the show, Dad.
Hey, you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you again soon.
Okay, man. Oh, shit.
That's my dad.
Ronnie Taggart. What a legend.
He is.
And the best part is when folks listen to this podcast, that's what they're going to remember.
Yeah.
They're going to remember Ronnie.
Well, that's fine. That's
You and
okay.
I are just a vessel delivering the people to Ronnie Taggart.
You know, he was a little hard tonight. It was good.
Was
he
he?
had a little sharpness. It was a little slight ornery feeling, which
Now,
was kind of nice. It was kind of
Fairness,
like
it's
it.
minus 200. The
Yeah.
car's not starting.
5 feet
the
of
dog's
snow.
at his ankles.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
tangling with a lot of stuff.
He is. He's
Yeah.
got issues with the house and all kinds of things with the snow. So yeah, but that's what we wanted. You know, it's not all fun and games and laughter with Ron.
No.
Don't waste my time. Okay, could we get like 2 bombs at the end? And bigger, like we need bigger bombs, eh, guys?
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who has taken more smacks than Larry Fine in a year by his own hand, Danko Jones.
Danko, welcome to TNT. Nice to have you here, man.
Hey, it's great to be here.
And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, Danko, you do like to give yourself a little smack in the face once in a while during a performance, no?
Not anymore.
You don't do
had
that anymore.
No, I had a detached retina 7 years ago from doing it.
Did you detached your own retina?
Yeah, my right eye is, because I'm right-handed, my right eye detached in '06, and I had to go for eye surgery, and so now I'm short-sighted in one eye and far-sighted in the other.
From multiple smacks done to yourself.
So was there one smack that broke the camel's back? Like, were you on stage? Was there a moment where it happened, or this was over a course of time?
No, I can actually pinpoint it. We were on tour. We were in Holland, of all places, and I got off stage and I started to get like flashes of light. And the scariest thing is it was completely painless. So I just thought I was jet lagged or I was tired or, I put in a good hard work on stage and I was just really super tired. And then I described this to somebody and they told me to go immediately to the eye doctor. And so I did, and then I ended up not going home, and then I had to stay on my one side for a few days while I waited to get on the operating table, and then.
And what we're talking about, Jonathan, just to give you a quick fill in here, and you opened up for Our Lady Peace many times, and to explain what you did from a fan perspective is you're basically hitting yourself in the face as hard as you can with your hand, and every single time I saw you do it, there was blood that would start to come out of your cheek or your mouth. So these are not like. These are full-on Three Stooges slaps we're talking about.
Yeah, you got adrenaline going through you. I didn't even know how hard I was hitting myself.
Very hard.
And if I didn't feel a sting, I thought I did it too lightly. So it's not like I love the pain. It's just I just needed to feel the sting to know that it was being effective to the audience watching us.
Well, I mean, you're certainly not the first person to experience seeing light and no pain in Holland, that's for sure. But a serious question, if you're used to performing with that kind of manic energy, how did you come back to performing without that as an element of your performance? That must have been kind of relearning your craft a bit.
Yeah, it was really, I was actually very worried about it because I'd relied on that kind of gimmick to really win a crowd over at the end. Like anybody who was on the fence about us.
It worked.
Those were directed at them the most. I directed it at them the most, even with looking at them directly and smacking myself in the face, it's just ridiculous.
What did you do did you do something to bring it like that same element? How do you take that out and have the same impact?
Oh, you just talk yourself into it and you just go, I'm a performer.
Yeah.
I don't need to rely on anything.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of get yourself, pumped up.
Like the wrestler who says, I don't have to cut myself anymore. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And And it's kind of like a comedian not relying on the F word so much.
And you guys have actually generated quite a successful career in Europe, I guess Northern Europe, specifically Germany and places like Scandinavia. You guys are massive over there. How did you get over there and maintain such a big career?
I think it's a lot different in those places because there's a very healthy reverence towards hard rock, more so than in Canada. I think Canada kind of tends to favor softer musics, which is baffling to me.
Yeah.
Because of Canadian music's history. And also I always felt that, music for young people, it should be, crazy and hard and heavy, and I thought that's what represented people, but these days, not so much. So anyways, there's a huge reverence for heavy music in general, whether it's hard rock or metal. And we were able to find that audience, and we did it rather quickly. After the first tour in Europe in 2001, before it was over, we were already asked back. We were asked to be put on a real kind of prominent compilation with a lot of our favorite bands on there, and we were asked to play Roskilde, which we did before we went home.
Amazing festival. That's huge.
Yeah, we were asked to do Roskilde before we went home, and yeah, it was now when I look back on it, 13 years later, that was our break. I always thought our break, like a band's break, Jeremy, like the break that every guy in a band thinks about is like getting that record label and that big, huge record contract. And it never came for us. And now I look back and I go, no, it was that tour and getting in front of the right people.
It seems like if North America has a more cyclical relationship with music genres, from grunge to Backstreet Boys, there are kind of hills and valleys as far as what popular music is. It seems to me that hard rock is kind of a constant in Scandinavia and parts of Europe. Have you found that?
Yeah, it's just part of, the musical fabric there. It's in commercial. It's used as bumpers on commercials. Like, black metal and death metal bands they play on the equivalent of the Junos, and they're hyped at the same level as all the more pop rock mainstream dance acts are the way they are here. There's a great clip online of a band called Kavlaratak, which is a Norwegian rock band.
Just Google that and we'll probably get the spelling it by itself, I assume.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's someone out there who's heard of a band called Kavlaratak, but they just played the Norwegian Grammys. And, they tour with some underground metal bands here and death metal bands over here. But when you watch this performance, it's like, this is mainstream, this is how it is over there. And it's a phenomenal clip. And they brought out a marching band and everything, and they meshed it all together. It was pretty impressive.
The cool thing I found about Europe and the whole festival circuit is just the element of going and hanging out for 3 days, camping, and the idea and the experience of going to a festival, the music that they listened to 20 years ago or 15 years ago or even 30 years ago was kind of part of the experience, and they didn't really exchange the new music it wasn't like a thing where it has to be a flavor of the month for it to work.
You mean like the final countdown is still going on?
Yes. Like you'll go over there literally and you'll see, Supertramp are playing to 50,000 people just like, Kiss or, like you're saying, a new band, say one of these heavy death metal bands from Norway there's an element of the heavy rock that just kind of is part of the experience, just as much as like hockey is in Canada.
Yeah, and so when we first went there, we were able to hitch the right wagons to keep going back, and we were embraced by the hard rock community there. in Scandinavia, in Germany, in Benelux, and and then also other countries too, like France and Italy and Spain has got a huge hard rock scene there.
In Canadian TV, you have to go to the States to get credibility. And once you're the guy who's back from LA, you have all of these doors open that never worked for you here. In music, does credibility in Europe get you traction back in Canada the same way?
No, not at all. No, it's just mainly like I find in Canada when we've come back and I do interviews with people in the industry or whatever, it's always so you guys are big in Europe, you guys don't do too much in Canada, and then I always have to tell them, well, Europe's a continent, right? There's 50 countries. And Canada's just one country. I mean, we do want, and this year actually we're gonna focus on Canada and playing more in Canada than we have in the last 12 years. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's the difference. I should say that right off the bat. So
it's a very tough country to tour, Canada, to get in and slug it out. It's big. Those 10-hour drives get long.
As a music outsider, what is the worst leg of Canada to drive between gigs?
I'll tell you right now, from Toronto to Winnipeg is one of the most grueling break your back experiences because it just never ends. Ontario is too big.
That was my answer.
Ontario just never ends in a van. It doesn't stop.
So are you saying Ontario's the New Brunswick of Upper Canada?
Times a million.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, like you sleep for 10 hours and you're like, you're kidding me. We're not even close.
What's telling is when you get out and you're like, oh my God, we're here. We're in Thunder Bay. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then there's another 4 hours.
That's when you know it's grueling.
Or Long Lac. I remember one time we were on tour and we had to stop in Long Lac because we were going to run out of gas. It was like 5 a.m. and we had to sleep in the van for an hour before the gas station opened up, and it was like this cold out, like right now, like minus 20. So there was an element of like Our Lady Peace freezing to death in 1994 in Long Lac.
Well, that's a conundrum. Do you leave the van running and run the risk of running out of gas, but to stay warm, or did you turn it off?
We had to turn it off. It was literally like waiting for the place to open because there was no gas.
By the way, you guys would have been immortalized forever and more popular than even you are now had you died that way.
I know. It totally would have been awesome.
Danko, what city in Canada rocks the hardest?
I'd say Winnipeg.
Really?
Winnipeg is really hardcore with the rock. They really get it going.
Yeah, I would. And then Vancouver is really good.
Alberta actually rocks pretty hard.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if I had to choose one, I'd choose Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, I remember the first show I ever played at the Junkyard back in 1993. I think we were opening for I Mother Earth there. And I remember back then there was just a rope at the front of the stage, and like the place was just overpacked, and people were kind of coming against the rope, and nobody knew who we were, but they were just pretending to sing along with the words, and just so they
That's always the best.
Yeah, so they could just mosh and get into it. Like it was just such a great experience. But I remember Winnipeg going like, I don't care who you are, this sounds great, let's go. Let's get right into things.
It's so funny when you see those people in the crowd and they're mouthing lyrics to songs they have no idea what they're singing.
I love that.
And it's so funny when you're on stage and how accepting you are of those people rather than when you were off stage and you were in the crowd and you're looking at them going, you're a fucking poser.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny how accepting you are once you're on stage.
Danko, thank you for stopping by, you social media magnet.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I mean, I'm on, we're kind of on break right now due to the holidays and the cold weather, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm at home. I'm just having fun.
Nice.
Just chilling out. And I saw your Twitter feed, and I had to, like I always do every day, do at least one person somewhere online is insert myself into the conversation.
And you did.
Good deal. Well, thanks so much, Danko.
Okay, bye, guys.
Okay, man, be
See
well.
you, brother. Good stuff. Danko Jones, Canadian legend in my books.
Honorary Norwegian,
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yes.
You know, the Wegians and the Canadians do have a lot in common.
We like each
aside
other.
from fish balls.
Yes.
Climate, cleanliness, kindness.
Attractiveness.
If you get a chance to get your mouth around some kranzakacha, might I suggest you do?
What is that exactly made up of?
It's
Break
a-
it down for us,
It's
JT.
a ring cake that starts, the first ring is about a foot wide, and then the rings are decreasingly smaller as it gets up to the top, and the top one's like a donut.
Oh.
But it's an icy...
And you eat one at a time? Like pop them off, or do you cut
Yeah,
them?
no, you pop off a ring and jam it into your word hole.
And next thing you know,
You can drill one in one setting if you really want to.
and how many calories are we talking?
A lot.
Like a minor Michael Phelps before the bong rip.
Yeah, I'd say.
That was a great conversation with Danko.
Interesting conversation. It's a nice thing, and one of the things that I know we both intend to do with this podcast is show people maybe a different side of some names and faces that they're familiar with.
Absolutely.
And it was really interesting insight. Hey, I want to leave you with an interesting visual.
Yes.
We were talking about embarrassment and
Yes.
even racism and what racism is.
Yeah.
Interesting bit of trivia for you. Do you know who the one person in my life is that's ever called me the N-word?
Who?
Urkel.
Jaleel White?
I met Jaleel White at Pussycat Dolls in Los Angeles through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And my friend said, Jaleel, this is Jonathan. And he said, what's up, N-word?
Really?
I think he must have to over-hard pensate, because if you played Urkel on TV,
Oh, yeah.
you got to come out hard.
Wow.
So that's why he's dropping N-bombs. Is that racist of him?
It's just Urkel of him.
is
Very
Urkel.
Urkel of him. Thanks for coming, TNT folks.
Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good night.
Something went on here, something went on there.
Ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.